I move to re-enter regular session and a note that no action was taken in executive session.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we're going to this new ground for us, and I hope everybody has patience with us, and we'll try and have patience with y'all. All righty, citizen wishes to speak. We'll start with Patty Smith.
I'm glad you feel that you have patience, Mr. Calvin. We may need it. We haven't started, have we, Tom?
No, ma'am, I'll tell you when you're ready. You tell me when you're ready.
Thank you, my dear. I will say go.
All right, you say go.
Okay, now, adjust my glasses. It ain't easy getting old. Okay, go, Tom.
All right, go.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. When my parents built their dream home in Paulding Forest, it was a beautiful place to live. Before it became an aviation hellscape of sometimes epic proportions. Until recently, I had delved into local politics because I never planned to be in Paulding so long. But life, mom and dad's death journey, and a recession had other plans for me. And thanks to this governing body, I finally met my neighbors, then put in the hours it takes to get an understanding of the governing authorities that are the overlords of Paulding taxpayers. And I don't like what I learned. I've lived in a lot of municipalities, and this is my fourth little airport, but I have never seen the kind of governmental depravity that I have seen here in this county. I am sure you all see yourselves as good and decent people doing what you think is good. But just because it's good for you doesn't mean it's good. Maybe if I had been in the Sky King fan club when I was 6, always dreaming of having my own airport where I could park all my shiny planes and have big noisy helicopters buzzing overhead all day long, I might love it here too. But my problem is that I live in the real world, where all the people out here get our drinking water out of the ground. And that water runs under your airport. And toxic chemicals you spill on the ground or spray on icy planes gets into the underground springs that run all through this area, which in turn brings your toxic spill to my water faucet. I could go on for hours about the horrible noise and misery that you've rained down on the people of West Paulding, not to mention the absence of taxpayer involvement in the rezoning that created this cancer on God's green earth, but 5 minutes. To learn more about harming taxpayers, drop by my website at www.pauldingairport.us. Us, the people. Lately, I've learned that this system of governing authorities, like we have here in Georgia, is a perfect way to operate government if your goal is to leave the door wide open for corruption. I have learned that the relationship between Paulding government and the public is not open and honest as advertised, and your outside legal team helps you follow the letter of the law, as they like to call it. If that means creating as many obstacles to truth and justice for the people as is humanly possible without actually stepping over into illegality, congratulations. I have, however, seen no respect for the spirit of the law, and I will pose this question. Is it possible for an action to be not illegal, but yet still be immoral? There are good and decent people out here in the real world who have been irreparably harmed by your fantasy land here at Silver Comet Field. The people who are the collateral damage at the ends of the runway have seen their way of life destroyed, water table polluted, home values wiped away, helped under assault from stress and sometimes constant noise. And oh, by the way, here's your tax bill. Sorry it went up, but it's expensive to ruin your life. And you're all so very proud of yourselves. Most people around here think massive government spending is not a solution to economic problems. But here you are, all about massive government spending. I often hear your most ardent aficionados saying it's all about jobs, jobs, jobs. What I see is avarice, and that is no way to govern. This authority exists in a wonderland, that is Georgia law. A shadowy world where loopholes that benefit a few and cost the rest of us big time are easier to come by than rednecks and pine trees. And integrity is not something you possess because you get a certificate from Bubba and Earl down at the Integrity Authority. Integrity is doing the right thing, especially when no one is looking. It is the lack of integrity that requires the shadows. I'm praying that the good Lord will show me the way to educate my fellow citizens on why Georgia's governing system leans toward corruption and why it must change. It should be illegal for a government official, from the president to an airport director, to lie and hide the truth from the public. I'm done.
If you'll finish your thought.
I'm done. If that is, it should be against the law to lie to the public. If that were the law, this airport would not exist. And I say thank you for your time and power to the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Chris. Item, commercial, proximity to her house.
You just tell me when you're ready and I'll start.
Okay.
How do you follow an act like that? Okay, I'm ready. Title of speech, My Dream Realized. In '96, I was living in a trailer park in Ackworth, paying lot rent. You know, I had a nice little home that I owned, but I did not own the land. And I ran into a couple, an elderly couple that said, well, why don't you buy some property? And that way you won't have to pay lot rent every month. And so I started saving my money, and with the help of my husband, we were able to save enough money to do the very expensive move. You know, moving the trailer was very expensive, buying the land was expensive, having it cleared, you know, having a well, the whole schmear, the septic tank, was extremely expensive. But my dream was realized. You know, even though it was a very modest home on just a couple of acres, I was able to get what I needed in my life. You know, the American dream, I guess, but not the Taj Mahal, okay? So that was when I was 46. Now I'm 64. I'll be 65 this summer. And I find out in October that the airport is going to become commercial. And I thought, what? I saw it on Channel 2. I said, oh, please, God, no. No, please. I worked so hard. Let me tell you what happened. In 2012, before you all come up with this idea to commercialize this airport, I was also hit by that tornado that hit the airport. You have no idea what it cost us in our retirement money to keep that property and rebuild it. I mean, a lot of money, okay? That was March of 2012. Now here we are, and I've spent all this money. I can't afford to go anywhere else. You know, I'll be 65. I'm already on Social Security, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck with this. And it was also, again, promised it was going to be general aviation only. I can deal with lawnmowers, okay? I can't deal with jets. So all I can say is I just wanted to tell you my story and why it's so upsetting to me that y'all are wanting this to become commercial. It's kind of like disturbing the peace, okay? And there's a lot of people that live out in the woods out here, a lot. And I just wanted to ask y'all and look y'all square in the face and ask you, do you care? Do you care? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Kathy Hales.
So you just tell me when you're ready to start. I'll try to tell you when you got about a minute left.
Okay, absolutely. Good morning, I'm ready. Good morning. I want to talk about the taxi. And I'm still a little hoarse, not as bad as I was last week. It's my understanding that the taxiway at Paulding Northwest Atlanta Airport was originally specified to be 50 feet wide. I believe I've heard Mr. Swafford make that assertion more than once. The reason given for the 35-foot width was because we ran out of money. As a subcontractor that has worked on many government projects over the last 24 years, I've never been able to use that as an excuse to not complete a project according to plans and specs. Here we are, needing to spend nearly $4 million fixing what should have been done to begin with. I'm thinking with proper planning and more accurate job budgets, this could have been prevented when the airport was originally built. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Now we're expanding the taxiway to 50 feet, a project that was started without funding in place. After several legal challenges, you find the construction unable to be completed and claim it must be done immediately because of safety issues. You've asked for and been approved by the Board of Commissioners, also known as the taxpayers of Paulding County, to give you the money for completion of the taxiway expansion. They voted 4-1 to fund this project with no guarantees of repayment. It's my understanding that every pilot is familiar with Unicom and has used this communication for unmanned airports for many years. NOTAMs allow them to get information regarding conditions at any airport they will be flying into. I would think you know Dobbins have, on more than one occasion, closed their taxiways for repairs, notified pilots of such, and went on about their usual business of landings and takeoffs. They conducted flight tests on F-22s with half taxiways. Hartsfield has followed these same procedures when they were working on runways. There should be an FAA manual somewhere around this airport that tells us back taxiing is not illegal, unauthorized, or unsafe. I'm beginning to think the unsafe conditions regarding the taxiway may indeed be a fairy tale. While I surely would never support any unsafe condition, I would hope you wouldn't use a fairy tale as a reason to put fear in citizens unfamiliar with taxiway construction. Now, I'm not a pilot, and I don't claim to be, but I'm also not stupid. I've learned more about airports in the last few months than I ever really wanted to know. I research and utilize my resources to make informed, rational decisions and evaluations based on my findings. I think you will determine there are many more just like me, and I would hope in the future that you will take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I want to thank all y'all too for that, I appreciate you. And we will get back to you on some of the issues brought up. All righty, motion adjourned.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor?